Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Jacalyn. Take charge of your life personally, financially, and professionally. Visit drjacalyn.com to book an appointment today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Well, hello and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn here live on Business Talk Radio while we stream live on Facebook and YouTube. We're doing a very special edition of Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn here in Studio 4 for Business Talk Radio. I am your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and your executive producer, and I'm a certified life coach. With me today is a very special friend and co-host, Heather Dean. Heather, it's so nice to see you.
Great to see you again, Jacalyn. Thank you so much for inviting me to co-host.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure working with you. Heather is the founder of Heather Dean Productions, and she's also the author of Searching for Heather Dean, My Extraordinary Career as a Celebrity Interviewer and Why I Left It. It's a great read. I've read it myself several times. My mother, who is an avid reader, she's read it, absolutely loves it. Please pick up a copy of the book on Amazon.com or on my website, drjacalyn.com. Heather, with us today, we have a friend of yours who is now a new friend of mine. Her name is Devorah Benarroch, and she joins us live from Israel, as does Heather. Devorah, welcome to the program. Yes, I think we might have some technical difficulties, Devorah, but so Devorah was raised in the United States in New Jersey and then Manhattan, and around 2002 she moved to Israel. And I believe, Heather, that's probably where you met her, or maybe in Manhattan. But she is the owner of My Internet Buzz. It's a consulting organization for entrepreneurs, and she also sells advertising. So, Devorah, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Hi, I hope you can hear me now. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, we can hear you now, which is wonderful because you have so much to say. We don't want to miss a word. And I want to give out the phone number for any callers who'd like to call in for the second part of our show. Our number is 631-627-3145. So, Devorah, let's get started right away. So share with us how you actually started your company, My Internet Buzz.
So I have a background. I actually went to school in Manhattan at FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. I worked in the fashion industry for many moons. And then I switched over to technology for software sales. And I was working with fashion and beauty companies. And then after 9/11, I made a little bit of a life change. I moved over to Israel. And it was very exciting, and I got married and had a family. And so then I finally, after my son was born, I decided to go out on my own and start my own consulting agency, because I've been working with a lot of private entrepreneurs and nonprofit organizations. So I just kind of opened up shop, and I began to work with different clients and help them figure out what they were doing in the digital marketing arena. Hello?
That's fantastic. Congratulations on all your success.
Thanks. And so basically what happened was I had some nonprofit organizations that needed some fundraising, entrepreneurs who were trying to build their profiles on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, different pages, different places. Everybody needed a different set of tools. So I train a lot of entrepreneurs on how to, I believe that on how to do a lot of these things themselves. Because you can hire somebody to do the marketing, which is a lot of people want to do. Everyone's like, can you just please take over and just do it for me? But I believe that when people use their own authentic voice and promoting their platforms, anything that they're doing, and they're bringing that into the marketplace, they get a lot more connectivity. They're able to connect to a lot more people than someone just posting a picture and plugging in some details. Yes, they will get attraction, they will connect with people, but it's like those ongoing little conversations being had all over the internet are what attracts and connects entrepreneurs to a lot of their marketplace.
So it sounds like you're helping entrepreneurs take their business to the next level.
Yes, exactly.
It's fantastic.
And, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, Heather, how did you
So we actually met so long ago. I was actually at Devorah's wedding. That's how long ago we met, when she was a single gal. I remember professionally, though, early on. So when Devorah introduced the early days of my internet buzz, I'm telling you, people were still really old school about their advertising and their media presence. Do you remember that? Really old school. Devorah was one of the few people in the country where we live who was, I mean, Israel is known as very, very high tech, but in the community where we are, it was, the internet was still a kind of new territory, and people were unsure how to grow their business through the internet. So Devorah was not only this internet expert on how to grow your business, but also a connector. Do you remember that? Like, you would actually connect people to each other, other business people, other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the things that I do today, basically I'm branching my business into a business called, like, giving it a new name and giving a little bit of a facelift. So now I'm going with the name called iDream, because I really believe that each one of us inside of ourselves, I'm sure Dr. Jacalyn, you know this from all of the clients you probably work with, everybody has a dream inside of them. Some of them they're activated and they're doing that in their lives, but many are dormant, way still inside of people, because they're stuck in being a lawyer, they're stuck in being a mom, they're stuck in being in different places, doing different things, that once that was where they were going. Then they realize X amount of years later, wait a minute, I'm not really driving the car where I want to be going. So I find this with many entrepreneurs. They don't always know where they're going or what it is, not where they're going, but they want to shift gears and where they're going. And COVID-19 has definitely brought this to everybody's attention, because a lot of industries halted, a lot of businesses stopped, a lot of things have changed in the marketplace. So you have to pivot pretty quickly and figure out, what am I doing to create a revenue stream right now for my business? So I brought in this name iDream because, like I said, most people have a dream inside of them. They need to get activated, and they need somebody to be like that sounding board, that coach, that be able to create the vision, create the picture, and then what are the little steps that need to happen to pull the new sales product, the new business direction, whatever it might be. We need to have a plan and a goal and be able to help make it get that, to drive the car in this new direction. And then you might need to bring in additional team members to help one get to where it is that they're going. So iDream is like this masterminding group that I'm helping, working individually with people, and then I'm bringing in more teammates to help people activate what it is that they want to be doing. So it's very exciting. But yeah, I happen to love people, and so I'm meeting people all the time, and I love bringing A and B and C together and figure out how they can help each other to grow their businesses and make new alliances. I think it's extremely important in the business world. Is not only what you know, but it's who you know.
Absolutely. I can sense that you have a great energy and that you would be someone who could connect people, because just in listening to, watching your body language, you're somebody that I definitely would want to get to know and work with. And as an entrepreneur myself, one thing that I found is you really do need to have coaches and have people helping you. I mean, I've got Ken helping me and Chris helping me. I've got Ashley helping me. So there are a number of people that I reach out to because I don't know everything. So I think, to your point with your company name, iDream, you can have your dream and see it to fruition and ask for help along the way, because people have already accomplished their dream, or they're rewriting their dream, part 2, 3, 9, 20, and we can all learn from each other. So Heather, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really, really important idea, definitely. And so I've actually, I've done some work with Devorah, still do some work with Devorah, but I want to also highlight that initial consultation that Devorah had mentioned, because that's such an important thing. It's such an important thing to get that feel of what someone's goals and dreams are. So I do remember actually having this kind of a mastermind consultation, which could have been a standalone consultation. It was so great, or the business person and Devorah can decide to also go forward with it. But just, it does start with that determination of the consultation. What I wanted to ask Devorah is, there are many helpers in the business industry that all offer that initial free consultation. So for the listeners who are listening who may be offering that or may be considering signing up with someone for that initial free consultation, what are some of the things, what are some of the red flags, and what are some of the green lights that a person should be looking at during that initial consultation to decide if they want to go forward?
That's a really important question. I think it's a really good question. Well, a few different things. I actually don't offer a free consultation because I don't always work with every single client that has a consultation. So I actually have a paid consultation, and then sometimes people work with me, and sometimes I might just send them off no matter what, and to work with other people, or it depends on what it is that they're doing. I guess the most important thing the person could be looking for is, I need to execute X, Y, and Z. Can this person help me get those pieces together? Can we try, is the collaboration a good energy? Are we on the same page? Are we thinking in the same way? But I guess until you work together, you're never really going to know if that person is going to meet it. But if it is a free consultation, you for sure can meet with 2 or 3 other free people and hear what all 3 of them have to say, and then make your assessment. If you're not sure, and it is a free meeting, then you might as well meet with at least 2 people, and then you have to gauge of which person is going to bring you the right tools that you're going to need to move forward.
That's really good information. I have a couple of questions to follow up with on that, but right now we're going to hear from some of my friends who are sponsoring the show. I'm excited for us to hear more about their businesses. So stay tuned. Wrapping with Dr. Jacalyn. We'll be back after these messages from my friends.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our ministry alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Jacalyn. Take charge of your life personally, financially, and professionally. Visit drjacalyn.com to book an appointment today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Make a bold statement by wearing a custom jewelry design from Margie Cedrone, Artisan Jeweler, located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey. Telephone number 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone is an artisan jeweler who has been a permanent fixture on the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia since 1988. Starting her business in 1982, all of Margie's designs are individually handmade as well as custom design. She is one of the only jewelers left in the area who still crafts the finest tailor-made diamond jewelry, whether it's a statement piece or an everyday item. In addition to her one-of-a-kind designs, she specializes in pearl stringing and bead jewelry repairs. Margie Cedrone Jewelry pairs nearly 30 years of experience with the building of lifelong client relationships. Dr. Jacalyn has been a client and friend of Margie Cedrone for many, many years. Each week during my show, Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live on Business Talk Radio, I will be featuring one of the beautiful pieces of jewelry that Margie custom made for me. I urge you to contact Margie through her website, margiecedronejewelry.com. Wait no longer to make your own bold statement.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live on Business Talk Radio from studio number 4, and as we live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Today, we are joined by my co-host, Heather Dean, who is the author of this phenomenal book. I cannot say enough about it. Searching for Heather Dean, My Extraordinary Career as a Celebrity Interviewer and Why I Left It. Heather will be on the program tomorrow, which is a delight to have you back. And we're going to hear even more about this book. So pick up a copy on Amazon or my website. And our guest today is Devorah Benarroch. And both ladies are joining us from Israel. So this is extremely exciting, a once-in-a-lifetime happening. So welcome back to the program. Before we took our break from my friends, I want to just give a shout out to all of them for sponsoring us. We were talking about a free consultation versus a paid consultation. So Devorah, I was wondering if you could just speak a little bit further to what are the pros of having a paid consultation. I personally I don't offer a paid consultation. I'm all ears thinking, well, maybe I need to do this.
So it depends on what it is that you're offering. So I have 20 years of experience in sales and marketing and digital marketing, and working with entrepreneurs, nonprofits, fundraising, and different things. So when I'm working with a person and they're brainstorming, I'm bringing a lot of different tools to the table. And everybody has a different, it depends on the clients that I'm working with, what it is, what their goal is. And so basically we have like an open dialogue of them expressing their dreams, their thoughts, their ideas. And then I come back to them like, here's what I'm thinking. You could try this avenue. You could, you could create a video. You could create a course. You could open up your own YouTube channel. You could open up your own Facebook group. You could open up, XYZ PDQ to have your own business or website. And it depends on where it is or what it is that they want to get started with. So then whatever it is for their business that would work, that resonates with them, we create an outline of what it is those steps are. And then we decide, well, who is it that you need to bring in to create or to do whatever it is that you need to do. So some people already have a staff and they already have people, and they can use internally the people that they already have working with them, working for them, and they're good to go. Other people need to go out and hire somebody for those different elements or those different pieces that they need to pull in to create whatever it is that they want, the presentation that they need to do. And so then I can help recommend certain people, or I could take on some of those responsibilities myself. It depends what it is that they want to do. So that's where for what I do, that's how it works. But someone like yourself, I mean, you also come to the plate with tons of life experience, and I'm guessing that you probably sell your life coaching as like the follow-up for someone's situation. So I'm not exactly sure. I'd be happy to chat with you about it, but I'm not sure exactly like when you, like for you, it would make sense to give shorter free consultations to see if you're a fit with that person, and then to see if then they would work, then they would hopefully sign up with a coaching series for you. So I'm not offering necessarily, that's like the difference. I think that why I have a paid situation, why I offer, and why, because you have something that, you also have something that's paid, but it's an ongoing relationship that you would probably shift somebody's life.
Very well said. That makes sense. So I have a question for both of you ladies, because you're both your own business owners, Heather Dean Productions and My Internet Buzz. What would you say are some of the main differences between being an entrepreneur, female entrepreneur in the United States, specifically in Manhattan, versus Israel?
Okay, that's a really good question. I wasn't my own business owner in Manhattan, so I don't know exactly, but I think it depends also what kind of business somebody's in. If they're working locally versus if they're working globally, So recently, one of I'm making also a shift, in one of the things I'm doing is one of my clients is a real estate person who is selling real estate here locally in Israel, but she's selling to a global audience, meaning she's getting a lot of people who want to buy property and real estate in Eretz Israel. So I'm working with this local and global marketplace. So it's very interesting and very dynamic because it's big numbers. It's not like just a coaching series. It's like $1 million that somebody might be buying a piece of property. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic, but I'm guessing versus if I was working in New York and running my own business, I don't know. Honestly, in today's world, I'm not sure in today's day and age how different it really is in today's world. Not sure. Heather, what do you think?
Chime in a little bit on that. Okay, so I actually thought that over as well. By the way, so when Dev talks about someone who wants to buy property in Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael is Hebrew for the land of Israel. So for someone who's considering that, talk to Dev, and Dev will talk to her client. I highly recommend buying land in Israel, by the way. Okay, so I actually thought that over because I knew I wanted to start my company before my book was published. And I spoke about it with a lawyer who works with American companies, and also a law firm here in Israel where I am. I thought about that a great deal, especially because I'm publishing a book, and books sell worldwide. Because I reside in Israel, ultimately I decided that this is where I would base my company because I'm here, I'm a citizen of Israel, and so my file is with the Israeli government. However, if you, whatever country you want to set up your firm, even if it's an LLC, which means limited liability corporation, so check with your lawyer because a lot of international laws apply anyway. So when it came to publishing my book, so there's international laws that cover all of that, including all of the legalities of how to file, where to file, and who takes what part of your revenue. So there are factors to decide, and it's worthwhile checking with where if you want to know where your company should be based. So check with an attorney who's based there. That's the legality part of it. So, but obviously, in the United States, there are 57 states and territories. So I guess you just have to decide how wide does your company branch out. For example, one of Jacalyn's sponsors, Dr. Jacalyn, it looks like the most fabulous limousine company, and they already stated that they serve the greater Philadelphia area. So it doesn't make sense for that particular company to have a national, necessarily like a nationally recognized business. Maybe under Pennsylvania law, that's how that company should go. So, consult with the right people.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. And I did want to say for Academy Limo and Sedan, Pat Hoban is the owner, and Pat will graciously drive anyone wherever they want to go in the United States. So he's a great entrepreneur like that. He's not going to say no if you want to go to Washington State. I hope I'm not saying anything wrong, Pat. Or if you want to go to California, he's your guy. Also does local trips. So that was really interesting information that you both shared. And I'm wondering, Devorah, you also were involved in advertising sales. Is that correct?
That is correct. I work with a website here in Israel. It's called janglo.net, janglo.net. And basically it is, let's call it an Anglo classified website, meaning that it's here in Israel, and it's about businesses here in Israel, and it's all in English, but it's about people. Let's say you can go on the site and you can find jobs in the local area here in Israel. You can find properties for rent or to buy as far as real estate, and you can also buy secondhand merchandise. And then we also have what's called a business listing. So you can, if you're looking for a doctor, a lawyer, a muse, an exercise trainer, someone who will anything, A to Z. There's tons, we have 4,000 business owners who've got their listings there in English. So for this is like a lot of people move to Americans or Canadians or Australians or South Africans, English speakers move to Israel, and some of them, listen, everybody should learn the Hebrew language and communicate in Hebrew. But there's a lot of people, sadly like me, living in this country and can manage. There's a lot of business that takes place in English here in Israel, and it can be found on this Janglo website. So it's a great place for people and entrepreneurs and businesses to promote themselves, because there's over about 1.5 million people a month, page views a month, that are going on that website.
Would you say it's something similar to what, I don't even think we have this anymore in the States, but the white pages?
Yeah, you could say it's like a white pages, but it's because of the business directory, but it's very dynamic. It's like like in the, I guess on like, I don't even remember, like the New York Times. I don't even know like who.
Right. So
has like this classified because it's changing.
Dr. Jacalyn, I think you're
What,
talking
Heather?
about the yellow
The yellow pages.
the yellow pages. So I'll tell you with Jane Glow. So I'm the producer and host of a weekly podcast that's featured on H.com. I found my audio engineer on Jane Glow. My audio engineer, I was looking for a really good video production company that has a good audio engineer. And I went on to Janglo, Janglo, and looked up in the business directory. And so I could get someone locally. And I think that there should be resources like that in every one of the United States and territories to get highly recommended, highly skilled people.
That's great to know. So I wrote down Janglo. Is that .com?
Net? Is it
.net?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perfect. So, Dev, when you're not working, it sounds like you're working quite a bit. How do you spend your time?
It's a good question. Well, we're living in extraordinary times right now in the universe. I don't know, everybody, this with this situation in the world, COVID-19, it's definitely shifted everything. I used to try and be out of my house or like take classes in my community. I used to go to my dance class, or used to go to like live classes and learning, or go to Jerusalem, or take part in different social events. And life is kind of like halted a bit for everybody all over the place. So I'm home a lot. So, with my kids a lot. God, I love all of them. But otherwise, I'm cooking and cleaning. And, we did get to the beach, though, this summer for like a day. But a lot of day trips. We did a lot of day trips. And, just like I've been home a lot. And reading and just trying to grow myself, mentally, spiritually, and professionally.
I have a question for Devorah also. So, Devorah, so you had mentioned at the top of the interview that you had worked in the fashion business, on the business side of the fashion business, and then you switched over to promotion and especially via the internet. So I think that there are a lot of listeners out there that maybe if those who still have jobs, to show up at jobs, for some people it's really a job. You switched actual careers. So there wasn't that you showed up somewhere and just did a job that wasn't fulfilling your dream. For the listeners who would like more to follow a path of a career, a dream career, that feel stuck in a job, how do these professionals feel less stuck in a job and then pursue career?
Hold on, let me just get this straight. You're saying people who feel that they're stuck in a job to make that pivot to start their own.
Right. A lot of people show up to work. It's a job. So when you used to work in the fashion business, you switched over to a field that is more aligned with your dream and your purpose.
Okay.
You got to get out of the fashion business and I'll just take a job. You switched over to your field of choice.
Right. Well, I switched over to technology sales. I was in fashion sales, and then I switched over to technology sales. So instead of selling garments to wholesale retailers, to TJ Maxx and Penny's and all these different retailers that I was going to, now I was selling to companies. They were fashion and beauty like MAC Cosmetics and different manufacturers. We were selling them technology, help build their businesses and their infrastructure. So it was a total shift in like the product that I was selling. And basically what I did, just did some research. I believe that we can all learn anything that you need to do is all on the web. It's all on YouTube. You can learn anything except brain surgery maybe, but most of the world you can find through Google and through YouTube what it is that the basics that you would need to know to make some kind of pivot. Unless it's something professional, it's really out there. Most of that information is out there. And then it takes courage and strength with a dream attached to a plan. And that's where someone like Jacalyn comes in as a coach who can help get anybody to where that dream is. Where is that dream? Where is it that you want to go? Work with someone like Jacalyn, and anybody could make any switch to any career that they want. I mean, you don't have to have a Jacalyn, a coach, to do it, but it takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of inner work and some of this research, but it takes a lot of self-confidence that, like, I want to do X. This is where I want to go. Here's my dream. Here's my plan. Here's the steps I'm going to take. And then you have to do it. You got to stick to it. You got to be on the calendar. You've got to have the mindset. And then you've got to just persevere. And networking also is, I really believe, the best way to switch any career and to make any changes. You got to just make 5 phone calls, reach out to those people, ask them if they know anybody in this industry that would hire you, that would work with you. Depends on what it is that one wants to do. And then you do that. And then once you get through those 5 phone calls, you see if there's really anybody who's willing to hire you or direct you or land you to the right people. And then you just keep going through and you keep calling until you get to that person who's like, you're just what I was looking for. Let's begin. But it's possible. It really, really is possible. But doing it with a coach makes it that much better.
You know, our show is all about inspiring others and talking about how we overcome adversity. And I think this has been right on point, because everything that you just, something that I've experienced, because I left my corporate job and I've been there for 13 and a half years. I gave my notice at the end of February. My last paycheck was March the 6th. The pandemic hits, and it's, I had plan A, plan B, and plan C. And so what I can share with you is why I loved my job. It was phenomenal. I'm so happy with what I'm doing now. And it's not easy. And there are definitely obstacles that you have to overcome, but you learn through them. And you just have to have the right attitude. And to your point about having a dream, that dream has to be top of mind. And then you just keep going back to the dream. Even when you stumble, you go back to the dream. So I admire both of you ladies for everything that you've accomplished and everything you're going to continue to accomplish, and for being on our program today. It's hard to believe we're at the end of this show. We've actually gone over, which is amazing. So Heather, we're going to be speaking with you tomorrow. And we all know that this is the book to get people, Amazon.com or drjacalyn.com. How else can we reach you?
So anyone can get in touch with me through my website, which is Heather Dean Productions. It's spelled just the standard way, heatherdeanproductions.com. And talk to me through my contact page, and I'd love to hear from you.
Excellent. And Devorah, how can we get in touch with you?
Find me on Facebook, Devorah Benarroch, or you can find me through iDream Business Consulting.
iDream Business Consulting. Excellent. So, ladies, thank you again for a lovely interview. We learned a lot of good information here. Anybody looking to make a switch from their corporate job or just any job that they're in to having their own business, you have 3 of us here who are doing it, have done it, and we're here to help you. So stay strong, stay well. Tune in tomorrow, same time, for another special episode with Heather Dean. Thank you, Devorah. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Facebook Live. Thank you, YouTube Live. Thank you, Business Talk Radio. And special thanks to Ken down in Louisiana doing this production number, which is fantastic, and Chris at Business Talk Radio in New York. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you tomorrow.
Make a bold statement by wearing a custom jewelry design from Margie Cedrone, Artisan Jeweler, located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey. Telephone number 215-384-7155. Margie Cedrone is an artisan jeweler who has been a permanent fixture on the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia since 1988. Starting her business in 1982, all of Margie's designs are individually handmade as well as custom design. She's one of the only jewelers left in the area who still crafts the finest tailor-made diamond jewelry, whether it's a statement piece or an everyday item. In addition to her one-of-a-kind designs, she specializes in pearl stringing and bead jewelry repairs. Margie Cedrone Jewelry pairs nearly 30 years of experience with the building of lifelong client relationships. Dr. Jacalyn has been a client and friend of Margie Cedrone for many, many years. Each week during my show, Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live on Business Talk Radio, I will be featuring one of the beautiful pieces of jewelry that Margie custom made for me. I urge you to contact Margie through her website, margiecedronejewelry.com. Wait no longer to make your own bold statement.
Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Jacalyn. Take charge of your life personally, financially, and professionally. Visit drjacalyn.com to book an appointment today.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.